Hello there everybody, welcome to part 3 in the reboot of the vinyl CD update. It's time to show what I've been finding for the past couple of months or weeks. And the autumn has been real good, but mostly because all of these great events like the record fair, the gamer record fair, the mega flea market, the nostalgia market, and the where our record store Vinylstall sold records for 10 cents. When it comes to these different kind of thrift stores and second-hand stores that we have here, it's been a little bit of a low period now. It hasn't been arriving all that much interesting, so I'm very grateful for these events. But I managed to find a great deal of records that I haven't shown, and starting with singles, and there are some real classic that I really was happy to find, such as this electro pop classic from 1990. I remember when I heard the first time, then I thought it was a really great song, and it's maybe one of the most relaxing and best well made electro pop songs in the 90s. The Beloved's Time After Time. And believe it or not, this is one of the biggest hits, but I didn't have it until now, so I'm very grateful for it. Time After Time Through the Round Window at the B-side, some kind of a remix. We have a Yazoo, The Other Side of Love from 1982. And we have Ode to Boy at the B-side. This one I was also happy because I remember these from when I started to experimenting with 70s music in my childhood. I'm thinking that this was actually a great song, and it is still, I think, an amazing great song. Very amazing atmosphere and amazing produced. I really like this one. The Raiders with Indian Reservation, Lament of the Cherokee Reservation Indian, and Terrace Tune at the B-side. This one is released in 2 different kind of cover sleeves. This is one of them. This is a band that I discovered through a blind buy, when I did a blind buy on a single. A girl duo called Cool Notes, or girl duo. They are these girls that are the front persons, but they are of course more people also in the band itself. I bought a single with them as a blind buy, as I said, and it was real good. I kept it all this time. So I did find another one. I felt, why not Spend the Night and Hello Spring at the B-side from 1985, and it's also a real great 80s soul disco track. So now I think it's time to start looking out for an entire album with Cool Notes. We have Break Machine, Are You Ready? And this one is from 1984, and it is the 3rd single from them, after these more successful songs, Street Dance and Breakdance Party, who also is mixed together to one song at the B-side. What I actually didn't know is that this one is that the entire project Break Machine was actually produced by Jacques Morali. And Jacques Morali is the same guy who gave us Village People. I have no idea that he was behind this. Maybe one of few projects that he did that actually was good, as I'm no fan of Village People. We have some Swedish singles, a band that I showed before when I bought their album, a band that didn't become all that big in Sweden, but I actually think they are pretty good. A band called Beauty, and a song called Varför tveka, Why Hesitate. This is from 1982, Swedish, kind of a new wave rockish style. And the same style as this was a blind buy that I did, and I had no idea what this was, but I think it's pretty good to do some blind buying on vinyl singles every now and then, because you don't take all that much risk, as they are pretty cheap, and still you manage to discover new music. So I had no idea who these were. Key and the Kick, and the title discovers pretty much why I bought it. Nyfiken, curious. And Key and the Kicks, and is actually the first band that a well-known person in the rock industry actually was a part of. I'm talking about Kjell Löfbom, more famous as Key Marcello in Europe. He was in Europe from the Superstitious album, if I'm not wrong. And this was the first band that he actually made. And the interesting thing is that he took an artist name, Key Marcello, but he is not the Key here, because he has not gotten that name yet. Key here is actually this girl right here, if I'm not wrong. So this one is from 1982 also. Glenn Spove. It's one of these rock musicians that actually thought that why not try some disco and sing some very cheesy lyrics about being very macho. But even though the lyrics are a bit cheesy, it's actually amazing produced by a guy called Rex Gixlén, who had some success with a Swedish synth pop band called Shanghai, who were actually real great. So it's a great melody, a great production, though not the best lyric. But on the other hand, that lyric is maybe better than this one, because this one falls on the category cult melodies that are a little bit shameful, that you feel, whatever did they think of? And as you know, I'm a huge fan of this. And this is a Swedish dancing orchestra, Swedish dance band called Drifters, who has been for a long time. And in 1982, seems to be a key year here, they actually released a single called I natt ska jag bli Hulk. Tonight I'm going to be the Hulk. The Hulk as in the comic character Hulk. And he sings about that he gets so turned on when he's making love that he rips his shirt off, he turns green, and he starts to shout like the Hulk. It's hilariously stupid lyrics, and the B-side O Magdalena is also pretty hilariously stupid. So, oh my god, I'm really happy every time I find these kind of singles. To more serious stuff, two singles recorded at the same period with Sarah Vaughan. First, The Divine Sarah with April in Paris and You're Not the Kind. And look at these names here. Clifford Brown, you have Paul Chinquet, you have Herbie Mann, Jimmy Jones, Joe Benjamin, and Roy Haynes. So this is not only a great vocal, this is great jazz overall. Released on Amarky Records, just as this one, Sarah Vaughan Lullaby of Birdland, consisting the exactly same musicians. Lullaby of Birdland and September Song. So really happy for this one. Bryan Adams from his debut album Hiding from Love, 1980. We have some more jazz. This is released on Jazz at the Philharmonic. It is Art Tatum and Buddy DeFranco Quartet, A Foggy Day and Making Whoopee. I don't find jazz singles all that much, so I'm very happy to have been finding a pretty good stack of it this month. Diane Warwick, I'll Never Fall in Love Again. A great, great song in little bossa nova style with soul, 60s soul in the edges. A Burt Bacharach song. And we have a real classic, unfortunately, without the proper real sleeve, but still. Carly Simon, You're So Vain. According to herself, this is a song about Warren Beatty. On the other hand, there's been multiple discussions on who it's a song about. So, let's move on to some CDs. We start with some jazz. We have Chet Baker and My Funny Valentine. It is Chet Baker with a lot of ballads. It's real relaxing, so it's real great. Miles Davis, Complete Birth of the Cool. Now I haven't shown many times before the vinyl with Birth of the Cool, but that is the original Birth of the Cool. This is the complete Birth of the Cool. And you might ask, who are not familiar to jazz all that much, what's the difference? Well, the difference is while the album is just the Birth of the Cool is a complete studio album, or should I say, the complete Birth of the Cool also consists the live sessions from Royal Roast that led up to the album Birth of the Cool, because Birth of the Cool was invented when he did these live sessions at Royal Roast and was talked over to perform with this nonette in studio also. And then someone also recorded these live sessions and put it together with the studio session to become the complete Birth of the Cool. And now I have both the original studio and the complete with live sessions also. Harry James and his orchestra, the Radio Years. Live big band jazz from 1940 and 41. And we have a Beck, Midnight Vultures from 1999. I bought for 50 cents only. And finally an Elise Regina, released on Verve, Imprez Milton Nascimento. So it's songs by Milton Nascimento. Now let's move on to the full-length vinyls. And I actually beg of forgiveness, because I actually was wrong in the video from the Nostalgia Market previously. I then showed that I bought Chicago number 14 finally, and said that now my Chicago collection of studio albums from 1 to 21 are complete finally. I have all Chicago studio albums from the 60s all the way to the 80s and late 80s, and I checked and that was not the case. I saw that I actually missed Chicago 18. Gah! But I found it pretty quick. And this is the first album without Peter Cetera. And I'm nothing against Bill Champlin either. So I actually think this is an underrated. I not listened more than quick peeks of it, and the quick peeks told me that it's actually underrated a bit. I'm not going to say that this is their best albums, but it's great. I have no problems with the 80s Chicago, and I think that there were a great production by David Foster. So it's going to be interesting to listen to the full album of it. A live album that I bought at the same time as Chicago, that means yesterday, a Bee Gees, a double album, live album. Here at last, Bee Gees Live, double album set, gatefold, and it consists both those more soft 60 songs, and it's made 1977. It also consists some from their disco era. You Should Be Dancing is here, of course, Boogie Child and so on. We have some more albums for 10 cents. You might remember that I did a video back where I showed albums that I bought for 10 cents at a record store, Vinylstallet, and a week later I returned and bought some more for only 10 cents, like these two by Greg Keane. We have from 1984, Contagious, and we have from 1985, Citizen Kane, for 10 cents. Also for 10 cents, Exile and Mixed Emotions. Exile, a softer pop, 70s pop band that were most famous for the song Kiss You All Over. And all these are written and produced by Mike Chapman. And listen to quick peeks of it. It sounds very, very soft and very good, actually. So it can be very interesting listening to. Compilation, Great Hits compilation by Dan Fogelberg from 1982. And also for 10 cents, this one that I actually listened to, and it's real good. The Color Fields, who is a band by Terry Hall from The Specials and from Funboy 3. Comparing to these two bands, this one is a whole lot calmer, more softer, maybe more adult. I'm no huge Special fan, and I listen a little too little on Funboy 3. So in my opinion then, this is so far the best album I heard with Terry Hall. I think this is real great, soft, with a little experimental somewhere here and there, and highly recommended. And finally for 10 cents, a band that actually I never heard of. This is What's a Blind Buy. I don't do blind buys when it comes to full lengths all that much out of space. But I thought that this one looked very interesting. Pilot from 1977 and Choose a Crowd. The reason why I actually thought that I could take a chance on this one was that it's produced by Alan Parsons, who is a real great producer. And I listened to it, and it actually sounds real good. So some little jacked rock style, soft AOR, never get these right, but I like it. It's a soft rock style, real great. So that one will definitely stay in the collection. This is a jazz album by Donald Byrd, Bird in Hand, with Charlie Rose, Pepper Adams, Walter Davis Jr., Sam Jones, and Art Taylor. And recordings are from 1959, if I'm not wrong. It may not look all that good in quality, neither the album itself or the sleeve. But I got very interesting. I found it for $1. So I thought it was very great to have until I find a better copy of it. And it's real great hard bop style. So I'm gonna keep it until I find a better version of it. And finally, Al Jarreau and Glow from 1976. an early algae. So that was my findings this month. I'm still not used to not doing this monthly. It was my findings for this time. So it's going to be another mega flea market in a couple of weeks. So maybe I find something there. And I'm going to do a Chicago video also. My complete Chicago collection. So until then, take care everybody. Enjoy this autumn and so long.